Children are stupid. I know this for a fact because I was one. I also know this because back when I was a child, I almost 100% played nothing but movie tie-in games. Now at the time, logic seemed pretty solid. I enjoyed the movie. I wanted to play the game of the movie. Now, of course, I was an easily amused child. You could have stuck a burning midget in front of me and I would have sat there with a smile on my face for hours on end if you told me it was animated by Disney. But of course, parents these days, what they do is they buy an entire fucking iPad and then stick the video of the burning midget on there on loop for hours on end. Parenting is just so gosh darn easy. I don't get what all the fuss is about. But getting back on topic, movie tie-in games have a particularly infamous reputation amongst all those who had the horrendously poor judgment of becoming adults. Which should be obvious, because it's not somebody putting their blood, sweat and tears into bringing their creative vision to life. Instead, it's somebody putting blood, sweat and tears into bringing someone else's creative vision to life for what is essentially a commercial that you have to pay for. One example being Chicken Little. Chicken Little is atrocious. It is a fucking awful movie. The game, however, is, less awful? No. Weird. Fucking weird.
Quick giblets! Someone's gotta do something!
The gameplay of this game just seemed to change on a fucking dime. It's a puzzle platformer, racer, baseball, dodgeball, stealth, arcade space shooter, pig in a fishbowl, tube surfer, mounted torrent, mecha anime. Also, the cutscenes are just clips from the movie, so you get your stream copyright strikes. Fucking thank you, Disney. Like, the amount of variety, it's just so making weird. It's just pure injectable ADHD. Like, you start off hunting for clothes that got stolen from you by your high school bully, and by the end of it, you're fighting a giant space eyeball with a yo-yo. It's just so weird. It seems entirely indicative of the attitudes of the time where the rights holder would just give the developer the license and say, hey, why don't you make us a game? Okay, what game? Excuse me, why are you wasting my time asking questions? Snap to it, peasant! I certainly wouldn't recommend this as an actual game. More like a case study of the mistakes of capitalism. I don't know, they go on sale all the time. Fucking, I don't know, do what you want. It's your money. But anyway, speaking of furries and mediocrity, Ratchet & Clank 2016 was a soft remaster, which was a remaster of the first game, except when it wasn't, and had numerous elements of many of the previous games, except less, and it was, okay. Like, solid meh. I mean, it looks nice, and I don't mean in the usual Call of Duty, oh, we added 1/47th more polygons than the last one. Please give us your wallets and your souls, please. I mean, it genuinely has a nice look and cartoony art direction about it, and it plays enjoyably enough, I guess. But, I don't know, it just comes off as hollow. It's just edgeless and toothless. It's like an Elmo doll that's smeared in butter. And the butter was made by Disney. I mean, it is definitely better than the original. But then again, being slapped in the face by a goat held by another goat is better than the fucking original. But it lacks any distinct personality. It lacks the breadth and scope of the second, or the charm and charisma of the third, or the pure polished experience of the fourth, or the whatever these had, of the whatever they were. This, however, just comes off as muddled and unfocused and weirdly paced, and some of the cutscenes were animated differently from the others, and then I remembered. This was made alongside a movie. Yes, remember that movie? That movie that had so much of a long-lasting cultural impact, I completely forgot it even existed until after I finished the fucking game. Which explains all the annoying messages telling me not to record any of the cutscenes, because that basically would have been piracy. But it explains a lot, like the lack of any edge or challenge, and the inept hand-holding, because that's basically the only way executives know how to steal money from children. Which may be thought of as an excuse, but I'm pretty sure we learned earlier this year from Crash that beating children and bad games journalists is perfectly acceptable. But my point is, there's very little difference between this game and that Chicken Little game, despite the lack of feathers and shit, because it's awful. And this is mildly competent and clever and creative. Like, there's the shotgun that shoots pixels for no adequate reason. It's still functionally a shotgun. And the thingy that makes everybody dance. And the gun that turns people into sheep, which all would have been rather rather creative indeed, except for the fact that this was all just shit you took from the previous games that you just bung in this, you pickled bastards. Also, you didn't add an arena deathmatch to this, did you? That was the best fucking part. You made an entire fucking game around the idea of the thing. You had the perfect place for it, but instead you just did the fucking stupid fucking hoverboarding AIDS fucking thing. But anyway, speaking of gay conversion therapy, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. Now, the less mentally subnormal of you out there would have noticed that, yes, this is indeed a movie tie-in game, despite the obvious lack of hairy midgets. However, the more astute of you out there would agree that this is in fact even lower than that, down to the subnormal level of fan fiction tie-in.
You and your family were killed by an orcish blood cult, but you were brought back to life by the ghost of an elf, who just so happened to also have made the One Ring of Mordor.
This is fucking stupid. It's aggressively stupid, but so's Vegemite, and I'll cut the unpatriotic swine who speaks ill of my salt-ridden yeast sauce. First of all, it's insanely innovative, in that it's like a fun Assassin's Creed, and that's just something we haven't seen before. Also, the Orcs Captain's ranking system thing just naturally by itself spawns a more engaging narrative than the actual narrative, because unlike most other aspects of life, death actually has consequences. Because the orc that kills you ends up becoming a captain, and you can plan and root out their weaknesses, and seek out your own brand of vengeance. Or you can keep them as a pet and help them rise up the ranks, and that's definitely more interesting than the angry light bulb and his smelly puppet. It is a great game, however, it's just lacking in any real substance or personality. Hopefully this will end up being rectified by the sequel, which looks like it's gonna have deeper mechanics, and it's got orcs, the shark from the Finding Nemo, and it's dragon. You can fucking ride the dragon. Shit me fucking dead, cunt. Fuck. But gushing over something that doesn't exist at 2 a.m. aside, what ended up happening to those old movie tie-ins of old? We don't really see them as much as we used to anymore. Well, the two major developers of said products, THQ and Disney Interactive. Well, let's see. Disney Interactive invested a lot into Disney Skylanders, and that ended up turning out really well for them. That was a really good investment on their part. And THQ, well, in their seemingly feverish dreams of trying to develop every single game to ever exist ever, they kind of, died. Now, these days, well, what is there? Let's see. Well, there's Lego, which, they seem to produce everything from the Lego movie to Lego Skylanders, so, that's a thing. Oh, and there's Telltale Games with their, games that are not really games, fan fiction games. Yeah, those are... Yeah, they're still doing that. Those definitely, they're definitely still good. Although I'm still holding out for The Wolf Among Us 2. Fucking, what's going on there? Stop with the Minecraft, and everything else is just an app. Everything's an app. It's all apps. Everything's got a fucking app to it. Because they're cheaper to make, but they still get their money back. Fucking, fuck you. Fuck you, Keemstar's fidget spinner. Fucking, this is scum shit right here. Fucking, you just tap the screen. You tap the screen and that's it. And then, if you want bonus points, you play an ad. And once you played an ad, you got 1,000% bonus points for the next 2 minutes. Then you play another ad. Fuck you. Fuck chicken.
Little.
Hey guys, I need something to put at the end of the video. Someone just say something.
Super Mario is real life.
Wait, let me get surreal. Surreal. Lots of good animations, and you should go
Squidgy
support her
is terrible.
Patreon.
Hey, give to my Patreon. My Patreon is infinitely
Really
better.
good Patreon that you should support is Patreon.
Exactly. A kinder, more Patreon is a very good Patreon, and you should give money to it. Thank you, Hyojin. I'm glad we had your input.
Suck my dick.
Suck your own dick.
No, suck
These are the generations of Noah. Noah's a righteous man, blameless in his...
Big giblets!